Rumi Horohamika, Nchomoku real quick for our parents. Are you a mother or a father? Now, in many cases, our parents may taking decisions for their children in terms of making their children or boxing their children into studying what their children do not have flair for. A lot of our mothers, a lot of our fathers may name their children to study what they do not completely have interest on. You want them to study that course just because you want to, rub shoulders or muscles with your friend, mega medicine, mega law, and so on and so forth. Now, obliged by the course, perhaps it's your man they made that course because he were maybe a relative or politician. At the end of the day, you push that your son or daughter to that politician. Now I ask you, after menem, Zelam under the mentorship of that politician or borrow PA to that politician for a period of 4 years, 8 years, what next? What happens to that your son? Because he's in position, to study what he or she does not desire. All you want is that all may study medicine, all may study law, because on high choro, because even your uncle, your brother, your relative, be a successful lawyer or a successful medical doctor. So you want your son after graduation to go, under a person mentorship or leadership. But that's not what the young man or young woman desires. And that is why in many cases, when they are out of school, when that's your son who you have boxed into studying what you desire him to study, when they are out of school, they become lazy. They do not have the flair. They are not emotionally attached to that thing they study. They don't enjoy doing that thing they study, and they become a liability to you. You start, your son is 25, he's 30, she's 30 something, you're still paying her bills. You're still, the small things she ought to provide for herself. Her little things, you're still responsible for those things. Why? Because at the end of the day, she or he has studied what you want them to study, but they do not have flair to practice it. So they become a liability to you. They seem to become, a character that you'll be complaining, and you'll be having BP. Allow your children to study what they desire to study. Allow them to study what they have flair for. I will give us an instance. Davido, the popular musician, had told the father, I want to do music. The father did all he did. The young man said, I want to do music. Okay, thank God the father has money. The father started, because of him, faculty of music. And he did music. Because it's what he wanted. See where he is today. He's a success. Nobody knew about Davido's father, even though he was a billionaire, until Davido started reigning and announced his family. Today, I can say that in all Davido's siblings, in their personal hustle, in their personal hard work, I cannot say that any of them regard their personal money. But Davido was the only man. Yes, the father might be giving to him as a son, but he was the only man who makes money in dollars, in millions, for his own self-hard work. Allow your children to study what they want. I will also give an instance, Burna Boy. Burna Boy, the mother was intentional, knew what the son wanted, and she was there. This thing you see, Burna Boy and the father, Burna Boy's mom and father following Burna Boy around, did not start today. As far back as 2010, 11, 12, when Julius Agun used to do Crack Your Wrist, I was Julius Agun road manager. We pick Whiskey, the rest of them. Whiskey was backup artist to Banky W. We picked them from the airport. As at then, we were paying, Julius Agun was paying Burna Boy less than 100,000 or about 100,000. And he will come and perform. He will come and perform. The mother will be there to support him. The father and the mother used to bring him together to come and perform at Presidential Hotel, Field of Music. And today, that young man has elevated his family because they believed in what he wanted to do. They did not force him or box him out of what he wanted to do. They didn't ask him, come and do something else. See, OK Bakassi today. OK Bakassi from comedy is now a royal majesty because his parents did not box him out of what he wanted to do. So don't think that when your children say they want to be a they want to study photography, you will now say that, no, my son, my daughter cannot be a photographer. There is so much money in photographer today. There is so much money in graphics today. You say, no, my son cannot be a journalist. Who told you? Many journalists are millionaires. They are billionaires. You get what I mean? So allow your son to study what they want to study. Don't box your son because you feel you have somebody who is your relative, who is doing well as a lawyer, doing well as an aeronautic engineer, doing well as a medical doctor. No, that is not what he has emotion for. That is not what he has flair for. That is not where he derives his fun. A man becomes more successful, a woman becomes more successful when they do something they enjoy, when they, play on something, they have pleasure in. In course of doing your work, you enjoy doing your work and you'll be more successful. But when you box him and attach him because you have one politician who is your relative, you attach him, he will follow the politician for a period of 4 years, 8 years, okay, let me say 12 years. What happens? He's a young man in his 20s, he's a young man in his 30s. When the career of that politician is out, what happens to that your son? What happens to that your daughter? Don't forget, as much as he's following the politician to begin to make money, to begin to pursue money and all that, he's also gathering enemies for himself, because politics does not come without enmity. So parents must understand this and allow their children to study what they want to study. By so doing, they become successful. By so doing, they become big. By so doing, they announce you. But when you box them to study what you want them to study, at the end of the day, they do not have passion to pursue that thing they have studied. And they become liability to you. That's why you're having BP. You complain here and there. You say, my son, he's a graduate. He's not doing anything. He's not even making, trying to get a job. It's because you forced him to study what he does not want to study. It's because you pressurize him into what you want, not what he wants. Parents must allow their children grow and do what they want to do as children. Only be there as a guide. Burna Boy's mom, Burna Boy's dad, as far back as 2010, 2011, they were guiding him. See Sabinus, Mr. Funny today. See Mr. Funny today. His parents allowed him, after graduation, even while he was in school, they allowed him to do what he has flair for. And see him today, he's a success. He's a success to his family, to his peers, to the society. Parents must learn how to allow their children go into the routine that they find fun, flair in doing. Enough of you forcing your children to do what is your will and against their own will. I hope we learn from this. Thank you very much. My name remains Omodo Jack West. If you like, you can add it, big man. God bless you.